I don't know why I'm doing the video. Because you know they'll just corrupt it, so I'm not going to do the video. I'll just keep it on screen record. Done screen record, then I press video. I lose the plot sometimes. Let's get it off my fucking face. I lose the plot sometimes. So no, mind control. Oh, here comes the dog. I was going to tell you about the Hoover and the kind of associations that it brings, and I tell you that's the second one today that I've seen. Good doggies, well behaved. Yeah, second one today. So they like to use props, you know. Just check the time. I've just put it back on the phone, so that's not actually the time, but it doesn't matter. It's good to know what time I started, because I only get 15 minutes. Yeah, so they use props, you know. They have to make associations with certain objects, and a Hoover. Let me just take my ear plug out my ear, because I feel like I can't hear myself properly. Yeah, associations with certain objects to try and traumatise you, you know. So, like I said, that's just a random Hoover sitting in someone's drive, and we're in the middle of nowhere. We're kind of forest that side, a bit of field that side, and then we're heading up into the big massive forest. But we're not alone, obviously, you know. Obviously not. Yeah, but the drive is in the middle of nowhere, so they've got their Hoover sat there, and as I approached that house, you know, just before you get into the kind of wooded area, there was a woman pulling out the driveway, and you know, gives me a fucking stupid smirk. Someone goes past me on a bike first, and then as they go past the driveway in front of me, they put their hand on their head, and then the silly bitch pulls out the driveway, you know, just their fucking nonsense to kind of make you look in. They want you to see the Hoover. And like I said, it's the second one today. I walked past a random guy walking down the street carrying a fucking Hoover earlier on my way here, and I'll tell you what the association is that they had a couple of these gangs. This was years ago, before I knew anything about gang stalking, before I realised I was being targeted, but I was, you know. At the time, looking back now, I can see it clearly from throughout my life now. You know. But yeah, I was out jogging. I used to do a bit of jogging, and I'd taken my dog with me, and she liked a good run, you know. She was a nice fit dog. So we were out jogging, and we were going past a place where I used to live as a kid, a street that I used to live in, the same town, but you know, a different area to where I lived at that time. So we were going past this area where I'd lived as a child, and in this area, when we got to this spot, when I was a kid, we had a dog, and me and my dad were out walking our dog one night, and this woman from a house right next to a patch of grass, she let her dog out to attack my dog, you know, our childhood dog. And my dad picked up a brick and threw it towards the dog, and then she started, you know, the woman started fucking complaining, although she'd let her, you know, I think it was like a kind of staffy type dog, and we had a bulldog, but he was a big softie, you know, a British bulldog. He was a big softie, he was fucking scared of everything. But she let her kind of staffy dog, who was vicious, not that all staffies are vicious, but this one was, she let her vicious staffy out, you know, purposely to attack my dog, because, like I said, you know, my parents were also targeted, you know, I was going to say because of my auntie, but I couldn't tell you which auntie. I know both of them are involved, the Prices and the Siglianos. I know both sets of families are involved in targeting my family, so but we'll leave that there for another day. So my dad threw a brick at this dog, you know, because it was attacking our dog. And she starts shouting and bawling, this woman, you know, as though my dad's the fucking devil incarnate, as though he's caused this situation. It was a setup, you know, like they do. We all know what they do. So anyway, fast forward 25, 30 years. I'm running past this exact same bit with my dad to the dog, and then as I come round the corner with my dog, jogging with my dog, I didn't have a phone on me or anything, I was just out for a little jog, and this woman is standing there with her dog off the lead, and her dog comes towards my dog and starts attacking it, but she's standing there carrying a hoover, you know. And it's just to build that association, you know. It's these props that they put around, it's just to get you into that kind of trauma state. So whenever you see these people carrying the same props, or they've placed a fucking random hoover in a driveway, it's just to get you thinking about that incident and put you back to that kind of traumatic, you know, situation. When it was my dog, when I was out jogging, and the woman, the dog attacked it, you know. They fucking smile at me now. I hate it. They all try and be dead nice to me now. Where I live, they're all like fucking, like dead nice. Who jogs while they hold their phone? Listen, I've ran before, and your hands get sweaty as fuck. You don't run while you hold a phone, you just don't. Like I said, you know, when our dog attacked my dog, this fucking cunt with the hoover, the dog done a bit of damage. I had to take my dog to the vet, you know, it had puncture wounds. But she wasn't killed or anything, you know, thank God. But she stood there and watched it happen while I'm screaming. I've got my dog on the lead and hers is obviously off the lead. And I'm screaming, you know, and trying to pull my dog. Hindsight, you know, I should have dropped the lead of my dog and let her kind of run off to escape or whatever. But, you know, you panic in those situations, don't you? And she just fucking stood there. She stood there until I screamed at her, you know, get your fucking dog. And she come over and she kind of tried to grab it, and then I was like, what the fuck do you think you're all about? And then she punched her dog in the face. That was the way she dealt with it, punched her dog in the face. I did actually phone the police, but, you know, like the police knew that I was being gang stalked, and the police knew that these people are targeting me. The police are fully complicit in your targeting, you know, as are the military. They know exactly what's fucking happening, so... nothing ever came of it. It was just like a delightful little day for them to know that they'd pissed me off and they'd cost me. It was the weekend, so I had to go to an emergency vet, so it cost me like, I don't know, a couple of £100 in vet's bills, you know. So they ultimately got what they wanted, you know. The police were going hip hip hooray. One of our precious fucking gang stalking paedophile scummy cunts has done their job. And I never heard anything about it again, so... It's clearly allowed, it's clearly okay to let your dog attack other people and attack other people's dogs. But yeah, that's the association, you know, the props that they use. They'll all be to try and traumatise you in a way, you know. Even at the time it seems random, like what the fuck is she doing? Holding a hoover, you know, she wasn't stood outside her house or anything. She was at a patch of grass. And when I followed her home because she wouldn't tell me her address. I said, you will fucking tell me her address. So she wandered about the streets for ages, still carrying her hoover, and got her girlfriend and called her, and then they gave me this fucking bullshit address for a town miles away. And then eventually I kind of shamed them into going home, and they lived in the house opposite where I'd lived as a kid, you know, which I found quite interesting as well. It's just a hive, isn't it? It's just a hive of fucking demonic people within that town, you know, it really is. It's really bad. Just so many of them, so many disgusting, horrible, nasty people. But anyway, yeah, that's why they use the props. Today when I was walking as well, I saw in one of my other videos, I think it's the Poundland Disney one, right at the end of it, these couple I think they cycle past me, and he has a bag with a little cartoon character on it, a little cartoon rabbit. And I say it in the video, and then later on I said, the character name of the rabbit is Miffy. It's this little character called Miffy. And this was months ago, you know, and it's only now. There's a lady whose channel I've subscribed to. Her name's Louise Clarke, Higher Insight, I think. Higher Awareness, Higher Insight. I can't remember, I'll put it in the description. And when I was watching one of her videos, and she started talking about the little cartoon character Miffy, and obviously it's got a cross for its mouth, and it's the kind of no speak, you know, you no speak, you no bad about us, kind of symbolism, you know, and I didn't realise it at the time. I knew it had to have some kind of significance in my targeting, because they always use stuff, you know, and they kind of, they want you to know the meaning, so, and if you don't, you'll probably find out later on, but I saw a little, so thank you to her for kind of making that association. I knew it meant something, I just didn't know what, but I saw another one today, you know, as if a child has dropped its little teddy and there was little Miffy hung over a railing on my regular route. Again, it's just a no speak, you no fucking talk. You shutty the fucky uppy. Also they'll kind of put people, they'll make sure, you know, that you find association, especially if you really kind of ignore everything in your environment. If you really don't pay any attention, they'll make sure that you know, people are sent to kind of make you make those associations, if you know what I mean. You know, if you're dismissing everything in your environment and you're not paying attention, they don't like that. They want you to associate it, and they want you to know the meaning of things, you know. So they'll get people to very kindly lead you down the path of knowing what these the meaning of these things are, because these things are already, they've been putting them in your environment and you've just been ignoring them, and it fucking annoys them, you know. It annoys them. And not only are you ignoring them, but you don't really know what it is that they're trying to say, what the meaning behind these props that they use are. So they'll send these really helpful people that will lead you in the direction of making those associations in your mind, you know, so that they can further fuck with you, so they can use these things to annoy you, so that you know it's not just a nothing, you know, it's not just a meaningless thing that doesn't mean anything, the thing that person's carrying. They want you to know that it means, you know, paedophilia, usually, is what it is, because, you know, I think I speak for the majority of us when I say that we're, to the environment, the people around us, that is what they've tried to class us as. So most of these things will be associated with paedophilia, but they want you to know, so these helpful people send you in the direction of where you're seeing this information, just so that you then see it in your environment and you go, see, it doesn't work on you if you don't make the associations. And I don't mean Louise, I'm not talking about her. That was just a random listening to a video that she done and kind of making that associate me, going, like an aha moment, you know. I don't mean her, I mean other people that have kind of, you should check this out, it's very interesting. And then all around me I see these people with these little props, and you think, okay, there was a reason you wanted me to check that out, because I wasn't noticing anything in my environment, and now you want me to fucking notice everything and know what it is that they're trying to say to me. So yeah, it's very sneaky, these people. You need to watch, you know, not everybody's your friend. In fact, very few are your friends, very, very few. Anyway, that's all I've got to say. I'm out of puff. It's not even really uphill, it's a little bit uphilly, but not really. They just make my breathing shit when I'm talking. I'm actually quite fit, you know. Shouldn't be breathing like an old woman. Anyway, you take care. God bless. Lots of love. Bye bye. Can't end it now.